In the highly anticipated season 13 premiere of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the simmering tension between Rasheeda Frost and Jasmine finally erupted in a dramatic confrontation that kept viewers on the edge of their seats for years. The relationship between Rasheeda and her husband, Kirk Frost, has been at the center of much of the drama on the show, and the involvement of Jasmine, who had repeatedly tried to come between them, adding fuel to an already blazing fire. This episode marked the point where Rasheeda decided she had had enough, taking matters into her own hands and confronting Jasmine in a way that no one saw coming. Jasmine's involvement in Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage has been an ongoing source of tension throughout the series. Jasmine's attempts to rekindle. Jasmine's relationship with Kirk was well known, and she continued to push boundaries despite the harm she had previously caused to their marriage. At the beginning of season 13, she was back at it again, this time attempting to have sex with Kirk, despite the fact that her prior attempts had already caused a great deal of strife. Jasmine's refusal to let go of Kirk was more than just an annoying. Rasheeda's family and life were attacked, and her actions endangered everything she had worked so hard to create. This time, Rasheeda wasn't going to stand by and let it happen. She had always tried to be strong and stay focused on her marriage, her children, and her businesses. She had survived many hardships, and for the most part, she had managed to. Everything with grace, however. As much as she wanted to avoid conflict, the constant disrespect from Jasmine became too much for her to ignore. It was clear that Jasmine wasn't going to stop, and Rasheeda's patience was running thin in the face of this ongoing drama. Rasheeda had finally come to the conclusion that she needed to address the issue head-on. She wasn't going to continue to be passive while Jasmine attempted to destroy everything she had worked so hard to achieve. Rasheeda didn't take Jasmine's decision to confront her lightly. She had always been a strong and resilient woman, but even she had her breaking point. The episode made it clear that Rasheeda wasn't going to back down, chose to confront Jasmine head-on because the time for silence was over. Rasheeda was going to take charge of her story and stop the chaos that Jasmine had been causing for years. The confrontation between Rasheeda and Jasmine was explosive. The tension between the two women was evident from the moment they met. This wasn't just a disagreement or a trivial issue. It was an emotional clash that had been building for years. Rasheeda, who had tried to maintain her composure for so long, was now unleashing all her frustration.
You don't know because you don't.
I do know. I'm not.
So the agreement was that you get canon the third weekend of every month. Do you do that?
No, and we didn't really agree to that because the last time.
It's signed on paper.
This is what I just want to say. It's not gonna ever be exactly what you want it to be. But
I
one
get
thing
that
you
now.
ain't gonna never, ever have to question or worry about is that boy getting the love and the same treatment as all the other kids when he's around. Always been concerned, and I've always loved him since the first day I
heard from you.
You don't have to hear from me because Cannon knows what's up. That's
So
all
now
that
you
matters.
understand why it's a little weird now. It seems
but
like
you
it's
know it's
as
not weird.
genuine because
No, it's genuine.
now all of a sudden.
I always been there since I decided to forgive this. If I forgave him, I gotta take everything that comes with it, and that's canon. Y'all figure some out so we can get this boy on track like he needs.
She was fed up with Jasmine's disrespectful actions, fed up with her attempts to sabotage her relationship with Kirk, and fed up with the way Jasmine had consistently ruined her marriage. Rasheeda didn't hold back when she criticized Jasmine for her persistent attempts to destroy her family and made it plain that she would no longer put up with it. Jasmine definitely tried to argue. Rasheeda was not amenable to her behavior, and at that point, there was no place for justifications. Rasheeda's words were sharp, cutting through the air with a power that left no room for doubt. She was done letting Jasmine slide by with her manipulative behavior. This wasn't just about Kirk anymore. It was about Rasheeda taking back control of her life and showing Jasmine that she couldn't continue to disturb her tranquility. The argument swiftly became heated, with both women exchanging angry words and high emotions. However, as it went on, it became evident that this was about more than just the drama between them. It was about Rasheeda claiming her authority. For years, she had been the one attempting to maintain order and rise above the chaos. But this time, When the heated argument went on, Rasheeda grew more resolute. She wasn't just defending her marriage, she was defending herself. She had spent years working on her businesses, her family, and her personal development, and Jasmine wasn't going to take that away from her. Rasheeda wasn't going to let anyone, not even Jasmine, dictate the course of her life. That away from her, the confrontation wasn't just about protecting Kirk or their marriage. It was about Rasheeda asserting her identity as a woman who wouldn't let anyone walk over her. For the first time in a long time, Rasheeda had no problem advocating for herself. Rasheeda's strength and determination were undeniable in that moment. She wasn't just standing up to Jasmine. As the confrontation came to a head, it became evident that Rasheeda had prevailed. She had finally taken charge of her story and demonstrated to Jasmine that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't destroy Rasheeda's family. However, this may not have been the end of the drama between Rasheeda and Jasmine. Was certainly a pivotal moment. By taking control of the situation and regaining her power and dignity, Rasheeda demonstrated to the world her strength, resilience, and unapologetically powerful nature. As the episode came to an end, viewers were left wondering what would happen next for Rasheeda, Kirk, and Jasmine. But one thing was certain. Rasheeda had proven that she wasn't going to let anyone, no matter how relentless or manipulative, take away what mattered most to her was that she had taken control, and the message was clear. If you mess with Rasheeda Frost, you better be prepared for a fight.
You don't know because you don't
I do
speak
know,
to
I'm
it.
not.
So the agreement was that you get canon the third weekend of every month. Do you do that?
No, and we didn't really agree to that because the last time.
It's signed on paper. This is what I just want to say. It's not gonna ever be exactly what you want it to be. But
I
one
get
thing
that
you
now.
ain't gonna never, ever, ever have to question or worry about is that boy getting the love and the same treatment as all the other kids when he's around. Always been concerned, and I've always loved him
I've
since
never
the first
seen
day I
or
knew.
heard from you.
You don't have to hear from me because Cannon knows what's up. That's
So
all
now
that
you
matters.
understand why it's a little weird now. It seems
but
like
you
it's
know it's not
as
weird.
genuine
No,
because
it's genuine.
now all of a sudden.
I always been there since I decided to forgive this. If I forgave him, I gotta take everything that comes with it, and that's canon. Y'all figure some out so we can get this boy on track like
Becomes worse. Instead of just acknowledging that he made a mistake once more, Kirk has been attempting to portray himself as the victim, telling anyone who will listen that he has been unhappy in his marriage for a long time and that his affair with Jasmine was a means of escaping the problems he was having with Rasheeda at home. A few days later, he separated from Rasheeda and, according to sources, he even contacted his lead legal team for guidance on how to proceed with the divorce. In my view, Rasheeda has allowed Kirk to be mistreated by staying rather than leaving. She had the choice to do so, but chose not to, publicly stating in an interview with Essence that she was making it clear to Kirk that she was not leaving. Rasheeda uttered one. Many times, those who talk about that could never be in my position. Many women haven't even been together for 5 minutes, much less 20. Therefore, you can't talk about the choices I make because, at the end of the day, it's my life, and I never let anyone's opinion influence me in any way. All I did was pray and follow my heart, and if no one agrees, don't follow me or leave any comments on my Instagram. I might not be able to handle it, but I'm not here to dictate to you what you should do. Because of his complete transformation, our marriage has been able to endure. Kirk had to be admitted to the hospital before he realized how much he wanted Rasheeda back in his life, but his choice to have her by his side has left Jasmine furious. She's been through a pretty dark time with it, and it wasn't easy. Revealing to anyone who will listen what Kirk did to her, that Kirk had already talked about getting married to Jasmine after his divorce from Rasheeda was finalized. That's why his request to have Rasheeda back has hurt Jasmine's feelings. But remember that Kirk is the one we're talking about, and he knows exactly how to manipulate both Jasmine and Rasheeda. We wish Kirk a quick recovery. One thing is certain, Jasmine and Rasheeda's relationship is going to get even messier. We're crossing our fingers that Kirk will be able to keep Rasheeda by his side after the doctor told him he might not survive. Fans have been commenting that they don't understand why Jasmine keeps throwing rocks and hiding her hands when a married man presents her with a baby. And with repercussions, as Jasmine was aware, one of the repercussions of asking a married guy to take responsibility for something he was permitted to do was that if Kirk dies, Rasheeda will be able to take care of herself considerably better. Kirk isn't the right man to take control of your happiness. The girl kicked the dead weight to the curb. Move on from him and embrace yourself. You are too lovely to be brought down. Because Kirk is with Jasmine when he is intoxicated and with Rasheeda when he is sober, do you believe that Rasheeda should forgive Kirk for everything he did to her and remain by his side at the hospital? Or do you believe that she has no business there since he chose to be with Jasmine instead of her? Please share your thoughts in the comments section.